What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. Today, I am going to be doing my 2021 NASCAR Silly Seasons predictions here on YouTube. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. So, there are some drivers currently at the moment that are safe through the 2020 past the 2020 season. Ryan Blaney will be staying at the 12, Alex Bowman will be staying at the 88, Kevin Harvick at the 4, William Byron at the 24. Those guys are some of the drivers that are currently safe in NASCAR past 2020. But there are still a lot of high-profile drivers who are not confirmed past the 2020 season. And I think there are going to be some drivers who are going to retire, some that are going to get demoted, and I think some drivers are going to end up taking their place at these organizations. So, to start off, let's talk about the 2 organization. Now, there have been rumors starting to circulate once again that Brad Keselowski is going to go back to the 2 organization because of the success he has had at this team, scoring 2 victories up to this point. I actually do not think that Brad Keselowski is going to, however, remain at the 2 organization, and here's why I do not think he's going to remain. There has been a lot of tension between him and Joey Logano in 2020. He had issues with him at Phoenix and issues with him at Daytona. On top of that, Brad just not seem like he is very happy to be at this organization as much as he was in the past. And I do not think he is currently the #1 driver at Team Penske, even though he has driven like he's the #1 driver this year. Well, Ryan Blaney, I think he's been the best overall driver. His luck's been bad. But I think Brad Keselowski's been really good. He's gotten 2 wins up to this point. However, I do not see Brad Keselowski taking over the 2 car, re-driving the car next year. I think Austin Cindric is actually going to end up getting promoted, and he will become a rookie in 2021. And the reason is because his father is a competition director at Team Penske in the IndyCar and NASCAR series, Tim Cindric. I think that's the main reason why he's going to take over the 2 car in 2021. Next driver we're going to be talking about is the number 6 car. Now, there have been rumors that Ryan Newman could retire at the end of the 2020 season due to his crash in his health, because Newman has not been the same, in my opinion. He's been kind of struggling since he has come back to NASCAR. However, I do not see anything changing for the number 6 organization. I believe that Ryan Newman is actually going to stay at the number 6 car next year. However, 2021, I believe, will be the final year for Ryan Newman. He's been in the sport for a very long time, 21 years. Ryan Newman is getting up there in age when guys are retiring in the Cup Series. I think that next year will be the last year for Ryan Newman, but he will remain in the number 6 car for the 2021 season. On to the next number is the number 8. I do not see anything changing with the number 8 team. I believe Tyler Reddick is going to end up staying at the number 18 next year. And the reason I see him remaining at the 8 organization next year is Tyler Reddick has just been really, really good this year at this organization. The RCR team looks a lot better this year. It does help this Chevy is a lot better of a manufacturer this year than it was last year, because last year was bad. They changed the body and it got a lot better. But Tyler Reddick has been an unbelievable talent. And I think really, in my opinion, he is the last saving grace for RCR. I'm not saying Austin Dillon is a bad driver or anything, but I think that Tyler Reddick is doing a really good job at this organization. And that is why I think that Tyler Reddick is going to remain at the number 8 next year. On to the next number is the number 10 organization. This one is going to be another change. Now, everyone thinks that Aric Almirola is probably going to possibly be safe at this organization because of his sponsorship with Smithfield. But Smithfield has had issues. They basically, I believe they declared bankruptcy, or a lot of people lost their jobs because of like the whole COVID-19 situation. Because I think someone ended up getting affected with the COVID-19 situation. And originally, I said that Aric Almirola was going to be remaining at the 10 organization. However, I actually do not think that this is going to be the case. While I don't think Aric Almirola will be out of NASCAR completely, I do not see him returning to the number 10 next year. The driver who I think is actually going to be taking over that 10 car next year is actually going to be Xfinity Series sensation and really talented driver, Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe, in my honest opinion, has been really, really good this year in Xfinity Series. Last year, yes, he only won 1 race, but again, 1 or 2 races. But again, that was because he was driving against like Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick, and Christopher Bell. Those guys are God tier. They are really, really good NASCAR drivers. Chase Briscoe is definitely a really good driver as well. And I think that this is why I think he will go to the 10. He's been really good. I think he's going to be the favorite to win the Xfinity Series title. And I think he will get promoted to the 10 organization in 2021. On to the next car. We're going to be talking about the number 13 car. I don't see anything changing with the number 13 of Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon will remain in the number 13. Ty Dillon, while he hasn't done really anything in the Cup Series, he's the grandson of Richard Childress Racing, so that should say a lot of things. But, I mean, he's not the worst driver I've ever seen. He's done all right with this organization. But, I mean, he got into Ryan Blaney. That was pretty bad at Bristol. But, you know what? Things happen. We move on from the incidents. Ty Dillon could do something. You never really know. But he's going to remain the 13 because that is an RCR labeled, and his grandfather is Richard Childress, which that's why he's going to remain in the 13 organization. Now we get on to the next number, is the 14 organization. Now, this is going to be another driver change. Clint Bowyer, in my honest opinion, I think he is going to retire from the Cup Series after this year. I just been feeling that this is going to be his last year. He's been signing one-year deals at SHR. He's been more comfortable, in my opinion, in the booth than he has been on the racetrack. Granted, he did get a runner-up finish this past week at Bristol, and he's had times this year where he has shown speed. However, I do not see Clint Bowyer staying at the 14 organization. Now, there have been rumors going around that a couple drivers could take this ride. Some of the drivers that have been mentioned have been Chase Briscoe and Brad Keselowski could be coming over to this organization as well. However, I actually do not see this being the case. The driver who I think is actually going to be taking over the 14 organization is actually going to be Kyle Larson. Now, this is going to be really controversial with some of you guys, but I actually think that Kyle Larson will get a second opportunity and a second chance with Haas Racing in the number 14, and here is why. Tony Stewart, his owner, has had similar controversies in the past. He's had issues in the past. You know, we talk about the Kevin Ward Jr. incident, his crash 2013. He's had issues with his temper in the past. He's been involved in issues and scandals in the past. And Tony Stewart is known to be a hothead as well. But Tony Stewart is also a dirt racer, which Kyle Larson, who is also a dirt racer, that'd be a huge benefactor for him because he's also a dirt racer. I think because of the controversies Tony Stewart has had in the past and where he's had to bounce back, Kyle Larson gets his bounce back opportunity at the number 14 organization. He will drive the number 14 in the 2021 season. On to the next car, we are going to be talking about the number 20 organization. I think that Erik Jones is actually going to remain at the 20 car in 2021. I think what Joe Gibbs' long-term plan is he wants to bring Christopher Bell and Erik Jones, keep them both in that organization because both those drivers are really capable of doing things. Erik Jones, I think, will probably sign a 1 or 2 year deal with this team, and I think he will remain at the 20 team for the long term, and I think he's going to have a lot of potential long term. He hasn't done a lot with this organization, but I think eventually he's going to turn up the notch, and I think he's going to become a perennial championship contender, as well as a driver who's going to win a lot of races throughout his young career. On to the next driver, the 21 organization. I believe that Matt DiBenedetto is actually going to remain at the number 21 car next year. He's done really good so far to start the year. He's been really consistent. He's been a top 10 to a top 15 driver throughout the 2021-20 season. I think he honestly could win races before the year is over. The 21 team definitely looks a little bit better this year as well, but the driver also is another factor of this. He had a decent car at Bristol. Unfortunately, things didn't go his way. But Matt DiBenedetto, in my eyes, is going to actually end up remaining in the number 21 car through the 2021 season. He probably only signed for 1 year. On to the next car, and this is going to be a driver change as well, the 32 organization. Now, originally, I had Corey Lajoie remaining in the 32 car. However, I do not think Corey Lajoie is going to remain in the 32 car now. The driver who I think is actually going to be taking over for Corey Lajoie is going to be Aric Almirola. Similar to what has happened with Hendrick Motorsports and Leavine Family Racing when he put Casey Kane from Hendrick to Leavine Family Racing in 2018. I think Aric Almirola will go to the 32 car next year, and because that is an SHR label car, they want to keep him in a stable, but they want to promote Chase Briscoe at the same time, I feel. So I think that Aric Almirola is going to go over to the number 32 car in 2021. So the next question is, where does Corey Lajoie go? Corey Lajoie, in my eyes, is actually going to take over the number 34 car for Front Row Motorsports. I think Michael McDowell, while he's done pretty good this year and he started off the season really, really strong, I think that Corey Lajoie could do a lot better with this team, especially with John Nemechek being really good as he is. Corey Lajoie, I think, is really talented as well. You can have a pretty dangerous combination here with Corey Lajoie, John Hunter Nemechek, and that team could be an inside playoff contender. You really never know. Corey Lajoie is very talented and very capable of a lot of things that we don't really know. On to the next number is the 37 organization. Ryan Preece is going to remain at that organization. I don't see anything changing there. I think he's going to resign probably a 1 or 2 year deal. It's kind of similar to what he's done when they switch him from the 47 to 37. I think Ryan Preece has done pretty decent with this organization. He's been okay to start off this year. I wish he kind of could take it a little bit further, but I think he will remain with the 37 team throughout the 2021 season. On to the number 38 team. I don't see any changes coming here as well. John Hunter Nemechek, in my eyes, is going to remain at Front Row Motorsports. He has made that 38 team look a lot better as an organization than they have looked in the past. And I think that John Hunter Nemechek will remain in the 38 team. He actually, I think in my eyes, is an outside playoff contender in Front Row Motorsports equipment. He's almost in I think he's in the top 20 in the standings right now. That should be something that is noted. He's very talented, very capable. I wish he was on a better team, but John Hunter Nemechek is making Front Row Motorsports look a lot better than they actually are. And he's always done it. He did that with his dad's team. He did that with GMS, and he's now doing that with Front Row Motorsports. Now on to the next number, and this is going to be the second to last driver change that we are going to see, the 42 car. Now, there have been rumors going around that a couple drivers could take over this 42. I've been hearing Noah Gregson's name thrown around. I've been hearing Justin Haley's name thrown around. And I've also been hearing Matt Kenseth's name being thrown around of coming back to the 42 team next year. However, I actually do not see any of those drivers taking over the 42. The driver who I think is going to be driving in the 42 car for the 2021 season is actually going to be Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain, in my honest opinion, he has been really good in Xfinity Series, and Chip Ganassi, in my opinion, wants to keep him in his foothold. I think he's finally going to drive full-time for this team after getting completely screwed by the DC Solar situation 2 years ago. I think he is going to take over the 42 car next year, and he's going to run and have some pretty good runs. He can honestly win with this team. And I think Ross Chastain will take over the 42 car in 2021. The next move is the 43 organization. Even though there have been rumors that Daniel Suarez could possibly take over the 43, nothing's changing at that organization. Bubba Wallace is going to be remaining at that organization. Jerry Baxter and Bubba Wallace have been really good this year. When they are good, they are strong. They just had a lot of bad luck this year. They got a top 10 with the 43 team. That's pretty good. Richard Petty Motorsports is definitely a little bit better, as Chevy Camaro Body is definitely helping that organization. But Jerry Baxter is a really good crew chief, and he is really helping Bubba Wallace. And I think that Bubba Wallace is going to end up staying in the 43 organization. On to the next move and driver possible change, the 47 team. I don't think anything changes. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., I think, is going to end up staying at the 47 team. I think he's done okay with this organization. He's had ups and downs. He had a really good run going at Bristol. He had a top 10 car, honestly, possibly a winning car in that race. Just unfortunately bad circumstances that have taken place. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will end up taking over. Will not take over. He'll keep that 47 car through the 2021 season. Possibly his last year at that team. Who really knows? And now we get to the next talk is the 48 organization. There have been a lot of drivers who have been talked about possibly taking over the 48. You got Matt DiBenedetto's in that talk. You had Erik Jones in the talk. You have Noah Gragson in the talk. The two drivers that are mainly being talked about taking over the 48, who've been really talked about, have been Noah Gragson and Brad Keselowski. Now, while I like Noah Gragson as a driver, and I think he is a solid driver in the Xfinity Series, I do not think that he has done enough to drive the 48 car next year. I think he just needs to do a lot more in the Xfinity Series. The Xfinity Series field is definitely a lot weaker this year, so he should be able to start emerging. He has one win up to this point this year, and he's been consistent. I think he can honestly be an outside contender for the Final Four and a possible Championship 4 contender. I just don't see him taking over the 48 next year. The driver who takes over the 48, in my eyes, is actually going to be Brad Keselowski. I think, yes, they're having rumors that they want a younger driver taking over this 48 team, but Brad Keselowski, in my honest opinion, he is going to take over the 48 car for the 2021 season and for a couple years. There isn't going to be a very young driver at that, older driver at that organization. In my honest opinion, they still have a young team after next year. I think they want to get someone who is a championship caliber driver. In my opinion, Brad Keselowski is the guy to go to. He's a free agent after this year. His tension with that Penske team. I think my eyes are still leaning that Brad Keselowski is going to take over the 48 car, and you're going to have a champion driver kind of giving advice to these young drivers like Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott, William Byron, who are all very seriously talented drivers who need some guidance from kind of a veteran presence and a championship presence. Unless, of course, Chase Elliott wins the championship this year, and he just goes out. I don't want to jinx it, but Chase Elliott has looked really good this year. Just my opinions on that. On to the next move is the number 95 organization. I don't see anything changing. Like I said about Erik Jones, I think Christopher Bell is actually going to end up remaining in the 95 organization. I think Christopher Bell has had kind of a rocky start to the 2020 season, but he's really been turning it up since the start of this year, since we returned especially. He's been one of the more consistent drivers, getting top 15s and top 20s left and right, and I think he will turn it up and get better, and I think he will start winning races here really, really soon. That car is starting to come to life. It really is. And Atlanta could be a really strong track for Christopher Bell. And finally, the last organization is the number 96 team. The 96 car, I think, is actually going to be kept by Daniel Suarez. I think Suarez has done, honestly, really, really well. Yes, he's not going up and winning races, but it's Gone Brothers Racing. Their new organization. This is their first full-time year. I believe they're almost in the top 30 in the standings as well, which is actually something that's noted for a team that small. I said if that team can get a top 30 in the standings for their first year, I think that's going to be a very successful campaign, and they can build on from that. And they do have Toyota TRD support. Daniel Suarez, in my eyes, is going to stay at that number 96 car. So, yeah, those are going to be all my silly seasons predictions for the 2020 through 2021 season. So, anyway, that is going to be it for another video. So, anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Turn notifications on so you can be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Links in the description below for that. And comment your thoughts on today's video. Do you think I'm wrong on some of my picks or not? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching today's Silly Seasons Predictions video. And I will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.